If you're like me, then you agree that Windows has been stealing all the hardware review thunder on this channel. Well, today it's time for a change. Today it's time for me to review a monitor.
There's no I in team!
No.
There's no I in team!
Back behind your box. Back behind your box. You are not needed yet. This is the PX325c. It's a 32-inch curved gaming monitor. Now, in the past, we've gotten a lot of feedback from our viewers, and they are not big fans of monitors that are this big, 32 inches, and only 1080p.
1080p! Ah! The Samsung panel that this is based on has actually sold really well, so somebody is buying these panels. I personally would not buy a 32-inch 1080p panel, but it's 144 hertz, and so if you're into gaming and you want the top performance and you want the Samsung, SVA panel, well, this monitor has got it without Samsung's prices. To open it, we're going to need my opening Xeon. I don't even know how to unbox. How did I get this job? This is terrible. I'm not a pro unboxer. Is there some sort of horrible C++ problem to solve somewhere? Yeah, that's a little more attractive. Pixio. Ooh, it does look good. FreeSync, 144 hertz. Front LED panel side. Okay, let's open it this way.
Don't throw away your manual. It contains screws.
Now while we're putting it together, I'll run through the specs with you. At the back of the monitor, we do have a VISO 100mm by 100mm mount. Now Pixio actually sells a separate height adjustable stand that will also, handle monitor rotation. You can use these with the pneumatic monitor arms or other types of mounts that might use a 100mm VISO mount. The panel itself, 32-inch full HD, as I said before, 1080p. It's AMD FreeSync with a FreeSync range of 59 to 144 hertz. Flicker-free low blue light operation, 178-degree viewing angle, is a 3000:1 contrast ratio and a 50,000:1 dynamic contrast ratio, one HDMI, one DVI, and one DisplayPort connection. It has a built-in gaming crosshair, which is similar to what we've seen on the Korean monitors that I reviewed. It has a built-in game timer.
Maybe it's like parental control, where it shuts itself off.
Well, we'll find out what game timer is together. Now at the back of the monitor, we do have a built-in cable guard. It has DisplayPort, HDMI, DVI, as I mentioned before, but also analog audio in, which is unusual. Usually you see audio out from the HDMI because the HDMI carries a digital audio signal. Not really sure. And then you've got a standard 110 volt AC input, your Pixio stickers. Now fit and finish on this, it's kind of a matte plastic. The whole case is plastic. It's kind of a matte finish, but it's not really picking up fingerprints too bad.
The cable management is kind of nice, although it could get annoying, I guess.
You got plenty of room for routing the cables, and the cutouts are nice and big so that you could do whatever you wanted for your cabling. The stand is all metal, and it has little rubber feet to keep from scratching your desk or anything like that. It's sort of a, I guess, a sandblasted type finish. There you have it. As you can see, the panel, the Samsung SVA panel, has the anti-glare coating, so it's not glossy or reflective at all, and it's not really even, you can see with the studio lights, it's doing a pretty good job. Even with bright lights shining directly in it, it's really not glaring too bad. So, let's get this thing over to the test bench and see what it does. So for our test system, we're going to be using a Ryzen 7 1700, overclocked of course, on a Gigabyte Gaming 5 with an Asus Strix RX 570.
So the box says 144 hertz FreeSync, right? So let's see.
Because sometimes you got to turn it on in the menu, sometimes you got to like fiddle with something. So we're going to check the monitor properties and see if it's actually 144 hertz.
And it is, with no adjustments necessary, 144 hertz.
Nice.
Good job, Pixio.
Now let's actually see if the panel itself is 144 hertz, because all that tells us is the computer can send the electronics in the monitor 144 frames per second. But can the panel also display 144 frames per second? That is the question.
We have a high-speed camera, so we have the ability to check this. What we do is we run this UFO monitor test, and we will shoot this at 144 hertz, and see if any of these squares are missing or duplicated during this test.
The idea is that if there's the panel itself, the actual LCD panel is displaying more than one square or not enough squares, that we will see it in the high-speed footage. Now, just eyeballing this, I can't see any missed squares with my eyes, because usually you can tell like by looking at it. You guys at home right now with this frame rate, it's like, oh, I can totally see skipped squares. Well, that's because the camera is running at a much lower frame rate than what we're actually experiencing.
Now we're going to color calibrate our Pixio monitor with the Spider 5, and that's spelled with a Y, which lets you know that it's young, hip, and extreme. This device hangs from the top of your monitor conveniently, just like a spider. Now you can see this is going to run through all the various colors, and it's going to generate a color profile. Now, we'll share this color profile on our forum. We'll put a link in this video. So if you happen to buy this thing, every monitor is different, but you probably wouldn't be too bad off starting off with our color profile. So now we're being told that the measuring is complete. We should remove our spider, which I will do, and put his protective cover back on. Don't want to damage this valuable piece of equipment.
Well, how's it going with the Pixio PX325c?
Well, we just wrapped up the color profile, and while we were waiting for the monitor to warm up, which is important if you're going to do a color profile, I took a look at the high-speed footage. 144 hertz is confirmed. None of our boxes were empty. None of our boxes were duplicated. They were a little dimmer than I would expect, but I think it's just a matter of the pixels, not getting fully turned on before the camera took the frame.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. So it's if you want something to go full white, it's not going to go full white if the monitor sees that the pixel is going to be off on the next frame. Of course, now we're talking about measuring input latency, so we're going to have to get some more equipment to measure input latency. I've still got a CRT. We can use a CRT in a worst case scenario, but this is the 21st century. Let's not do that.
I'm not sure using a CRT answers questions about this monitor. But that's not something that you should really worry about. If you're looking for a 1080p monitor that runs at 144 hertz and has FreeSync, this is definitely going to check all those boxes. It does what it says, and after the color correction, it looks pretty nice.
Now, the color profile, I can't tell you, like, for your use professionally, is this monitor good enough for professional use based on the color recalibration? I don't know. I don't have enough data for doing that, but you can download the color profile, the color calibration data that we have for this monitor, and you do know that the model of Samsung panel in this monitor, so you can do your own research and figure out if this panel is appropriate for the type of professional work you might be looking at doing alongside your 144 hertz gaming.
Now we do have the 24-inch version of this same thing, and we also have, coming up probably next month sometime, the higher resolution versions of both of these. So yes, keep an eye out for those.
I can't wait for the 120 hertz 1440p version of the same monitor. So that's gonna be really great. And I think personally the 24-inch, like if I was gonna pick a 1080p gaming monitor, I think I'd probably pick the 24-inch version of this monitor because, 24 inches and same bells and whistles. But I don't know, if you pick up one of these and you wanna share something with the forum or you have questions or whatever, come to the Level 1 Techs forum. I'm Wendell.
I'm Ryan.
And you'll find us there, forum.level1techs.com. See ya.